Morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. Again, we're heading into the weekend. I'm kind of excited. Tomorrow, Saturday, Warren Buffett does his shareholder meeting, and he's actually streaming it live. I believe I've set my alarm clock. I'm going to try to watch that. Worst case, if it doesn't work out schedule-wise, I will certainly watch the replay, which I'm sure will be all over the place. But as for the news of the day, kind of lots of things that I think we all know and expect to be coming. But there's also some, I guess the term being thrown around are green shoots starting to pop up. So let's go through everything again. Just a long running list of things that I took from the last 90 minutes or so. First and foremost, something coming out of the Q1 numbers that I did not see until this morning was the U.S. savings rate is at 13% as of Q1. That is a record. We didn't even hit 13% during the Great Recession. So again, just another sign that this is, you know, changing behavior. We've shut our wallets. We're not doing any really discretionary spending. We're spending on anything we must have. So again, a 13% savings rate in a quarter is a record for the U.S. and likely they're saying to be higher in Q2. Something on the stock market that kind of caught my eye this morning. Again, not a stock market trader. Not going to vote one way or the other. Just a fact. S&P trades at 21.7 times forward earnings, and that's the highest since May of 2002. So, take that with a grain of salt, if you will. As for forbearance, this is something we've talked about a bunch on this channel, given we are real estate focused. We are now up to 3.8 million folks in forbearance. I do believe forbearance will help a lot of folks. Unfortunately, it won't help everyone. It's shocking to think that 7.3% of mortgages are in forbearance. That's a big number, and 6.1% of Fannie and Freddie loans are in forbearance. That just takes your breath away. And again, probably to be expected, when you look at the unemployment numbers, now over 30 million in 6 weeks. But still, forbearance, as we've talked about on this channel, is going to it's going to unwind in a messy way, right? Because we have taken off the risk of one payment shocks, which we talked about early on. They've just recently dropped this earlier this week. But still, payments are going to go up, right? And maybe they'll go up because you have to pay it back in 12 months. It's going to be messy. And many people will unfortunately lose their homes. Boeing successfully raised $25 billion, 25 with a B. Sixth largest raise ever for debt offering. I thought that was interesting. And they're saying now, because they've secured $25 billion, they can avoid having to go to the government. The government, rightly so, was asking for a lot. They wanted the Warren Buffett special, right? They wanted warrants, they wanted interest, they wanted all that. So Boeing said no, thank you. Good morning, and they successfully raised $25 billion, and by all accounts are paying about 5% on the money. So, not quite, not crazy rates, low or high. I mean, I remember a retailer paying 12 or 13% here a month ago. So it is interesting to see. Again, just running down the list, MGM Resorts, basically a big casino operator in Vegas, is talking about potentially opening a couple of their casinos when they get the green light, and not everyone. That probably makes sense. The supply of people is going to be down, so control costs, consolidate, put them in your best casinos. I think that just makes good business sense, as opposed to just trying to open everything and hope they come. Probably not a great idea. Western Digital, latest company to cut its dividend. Dividend was at around 5% last time I saw. Obviously, cutting the dividend, conserve cash, doing the right things, but it has hit their stock today. More financial institutions, the big boys, this time Wells Fargo, the biggest, I think it's the biggest mortgage lender out there, is no longer doing equity lines. They stopped taking new equity lines on homes. It's just, Chase did this first. Now Wells Fargo, others will absolutely follow. This is just a sign that I think they see a lot of mess in their existing loan portfolio, right? That's the real problem here, is they don't want to add risk on risk. I think they see a softening in the market. I think lending can drive softening. That is something I experienced in 2009 and 10. When lending was the tightest, prices fell the most. When it's difficult to get a yes answer to buy something, the demand goes down and prices fall. So sometimes banks can cause their own challenges. So again, we're going to have years to unwind this thing. This forbearance thing is going to cause years of unwinding. We could see a whole dislocation of individuals now that working from home. I'm seeing more and more articles about even Wall Street professionals, right? The highest of high paid people in New York saying, you know what, this working from home stuff works. And, just go in the office, shut it down. They got like 9 screens and they're just doing their thing. So it will be interesting to see if this event really causes coastal, Bay Area, LA, New York to go, you know what? I don't need to live in this ridiculously expensive place. I can live anywhere. I think that can impact real estate housing for sure. Next up, Disney. Some good news for Disney. They're doing a trial opening or a soft opening in Shanghai. I think, just another sign that we can get through this. I would say people in China and Shanghai, they're about 7 or 8 weeks ahead of us. So these things we have to watch because we can figure out what works and what doesn't. We are luxury that way. So again, I wish them nothing but luck. I hope it goes well. They're wearing masks and taking temperatures randomly and just doing the things to identify potential sick people, but also it's making people feel better. That's what this whole thing is about. They're making people feel better. Something that you may not know is this whole forbearance program, right? These 3.8 million folks. Those are conventional loans. Absolutely. I don't know if you know this, but jumbo loans, think loans over $510,000, they do not qualify for automatic forbearance. I do not know if you knew that. The forbearance that was put out in the CARES Act, I think it was, are for loans that are bought by Fannie, Freddie, FHA, that kind of stuff, right? Government sponsored or government supported or whatever you want to call it. What I would tell you is jumbo loans don't qualify. They don't buy those loans. That's why those are typically higher. Typically jumbo loans, higher credit rating, more down, all of that. They're, some people would call them less risky at some point. But what I would tell you is jumbo loans are going to be a problem. Jumbo loans are going to be a problem because I think there's some high income earners that are starting to be affected by this. And you're going to see some foreclosures in high-end markets and people mid-flip and things of that nature. The jumbo market is going to be messy, and jumbo loans fell 37% last month. 37%. If that's not a sign that banks are going no more jumbo loans, I don't know what is. And just by comparison, conventional loans fell by 2.7%. So you can see banks are starting to say no to jumbo loans, which again, going back to what I earlier said, if lenders are saying no, it's hard to get a yes answer and a market will fall. The Bay Area, LA, New York will fall because the jumbo market is turned off. There was a question just a second ago about 1031 exchanges. Will those go away? Of all the tax changes I see coming, which will negatively impact real estate, I do not believe 1031 exchange will go away. The ability to encourage people to go bigger is something that I don't see going away. So no, I do not see the 1031 exchange going away. But again, back to the jumbo loans, be careful. The jumbo loans are not being talked about, but it is going to be interesting to see what's going on. The housing industry will be hit for at least 18 months, no question. I have good news on air travel. I don't know if you want to hear it, but I thought as somebody that used to fly all the time, I thought this data was interesting and again, a sign of a potential green shoot. Air travel, TSA, right? One of the choke points for all the airports. They serviced 155,000 people yesterday. That is the most number of air travelers since March 30th. That's an interesting fact. It was a Thursday too. I mean, it's not even like a Friday or Saturday, right? 155,000 air travelers on Thursday. I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe a sign that we are slowly coming back. That's still, 98, 97% of what it was last April 30th, but let's not talk about that. Let's just be happy that 155,000 air travelers yesterday was the highest since March 30th. Amazon's earnings was interesting. Again, you would expect, right? This is one of those whole Amazon's killing it, and they are. They're growing 3x any other online retailer. It's awesome. But you got to like them for just how plainly they speak. They told if they said I want to if you're an Amazon shareholder, take a seat in Q2. I was like, whoa, what do they mean by that? So everybody expects them to have blowout numbers and all of that in Q2 because this is the quarter that they are truly benefiting from. But they're saying you guys aren't paying attention. Their cost structure is way up, right? They're having to add more and more people. They are having to pay higher rates, and they're having to clean, and they're having to invest in a lot more infrastructure, right? Grocery demand is up like 6,000% or something, and they don't have the infrastructure, so they have to buy freezers and all of that. So it is interesting. Yes, Starbucks, hopefully, knock on wood, opens by early June would be awesome. Again, Warren Buffett's shareholder meeting tomorrow. Anybody got that scheduled? It's supposed to be streaming live. I think it's 11 a.m. Pacific. I have to go back and check. I saved it on my calendar. And then lastly, a sign of some things that we may see again coming in the U.S. is China is sponsoring incentives. So it will be interesting to see if we do the same thing when we start coming out of this infrastructure bill incentives. China has an incentive to buy electric cars. And Tesla has had to lower the cost of their Model 3 a couple of $1,000s to qualify because there was a maximum amount. And they have done that. The other thing that's interesting about China's sales on electric vehicles in Q1, they only sold 114,000 cars in Q1. Again, they were directly impacted by Q1, so it's kind of like our Q2. But that's down 56%. That is interesting. So in the end, again, lots of stuff going on. I don't think this is a weekend where people sell to get flat because they expect bad news. I do think we are over that. Yes, the jumbo loans do not qualify. They are not bought, so they do not qualify. Be careful. And again, jumbo loans were down 37% in March for a reason, and conventional was only down 2.7. These are signs that some parts of the market are not healthy. All right, everybody, that's what I got for you today. I hope you have fun. Take care and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.